Hey, hope you're doing well. Jeremy McCullen Knives. This is a follow-up video from one I did the other day about using the 1/3, 2/3 method to design your slip joint tang and back square. I came out here today and spent about an hour just kind of ad hoc and designed a slip joint. This is the first take on it. It may change, but in the previous video I stated that I was planning on designing a new knife, and it's actually a larger slip joint, one with a 3-inch or larger blade. So I came out here today, I had nothing on paper, I just had an idea in my head. And what I did is I decided on basic dimensions. I knew how long I wanted the blade, I knew how tall I wanted the blade, and from that, using the 1/3, 2/3 methods, you can see the layout lines. I was able to lay out the tang and the back square, and also locate my pivot pin hole. So I laid everything out, drilled my pivot pin, cut out my tang and back square, and I had basically I had a square block. And then from that square block, I went to designing a handle. With another, basically square piece of wood, I decided where I wanted the blade to sit. I knew about how much space I was going to need for a back spring, and I roughed out a handle and started refining the handle. Once I got the handle refined and I knew that that was about where I wanted things, then I focused on a back spring. So that's the first back spring. Now I didn't put a rear pinhole because I really didn't need one at this point in time. A rear pinhole will be somewhere in that area, thereabouts. All right, but what was important was looking to see if all my measurements, my geometry from my back spring, tang, back square, were going to work properly, that I was going to have, the kick was going to be in the right spot, so I was going to have plenty of room from my blade edge and tip, and also that from this side everything was going to look all right. Now I may change this blade shape, I've not decided. Again, I just, after I had got everything where I knew location wise what I kind of wanted, I'll quickly shape the blade. I had to make sure that where the blade set into the handle, I would have plenty of room for a nail nick, which I do. Nail nick would be somewhere in there. And then I drilled my center pin for my spring, and that's where I ran into a little bit of problem. And the reason I do things this way is, instead of using CAD or whatever, I like to do things with my hands. I like to see and feel and go, how does that look? This wood is cheap, easy to work. So after I drilled this, I realized that I didn't give myself a whole lot of meat here for strength. So I wanted to modify that. So I decided to change my back spring. So what I did, I made me a new back spring, and you can see how I beefed this up compared to that one. All right, and then I went ahead and made a new handle because I'd already drilled this hole, and you can see how the hole placement is lower also on the handle. Pop that in there. Pop the blade in here, and we'll do the same thing. We're going to check. So in the open position, everything looks good. Half stop position, everything lines up just like it's supposed to. Closed position, everything is just like it's supposed to. You can look at this side and you can see that I have maybe a 1/8 of an inch from the tip to the back spring, which gives me plenty of space. And then when I flip it over, you got plenty of room for my nail nick. But the most important thing is the layout of the Tang back square. And you can see that those measurements that I used were spot on. So I know that I could take this, use the same measurements, and I could lay it out in steel and make a prototype slip joint using this design, and I'll have a design that works without, you know, making one and going, oh crap, what did I do wrong? Something's not right. By doing it this way, I already know that if I use these measurements and I don't jack it up when I put the measurements on and cut it out and grind it out, I'll have a functioning slip joint. So again, this is the first take on this. I'm not sure if this is the one I'll use. I actually do like this, so I think I'll keep it. Nice, large slip joint, more of like a one you'd use for, you know, chores or even a picnic knife. Not something that you'd necessarily want to carry around in dress slacks. That's something you could put in your back pocket, blue jeans or work pants, and you'd have a nice, good size slip joint to do what you need. And I measured the blade right now from the front of the handle to the tip. You're looking at 3 1/8 inch. You know, of course, depending on where somebody was, that could be modified a little shorter, a little longer. But using the 1/3, 2/3 method, you can lay out your design. And again, it took me about an hour to do all this today. So there you go. I hope somebody finds that beneficial. Take care.